I think there is something fundamentally wrong with our choice. Two women are standing in front of you. You have to marry one of them. But the one you reject will spend rest of her life with a man who will never love her and beat her every single day. Now, before you answer, I want you to notice something strange happening inside your own mind. Because the moment I gave you this choice, your brain immediately started creating reasons. Maybe you started thinking about personality, morality, attraction, sympathy. Maybe you tried to save the weaker one. Maybe you chose the one you felt more connected to. Or maybe you still haven't chosen. But here's the disturbing part. You believe this decision is coming from you, from your own free will. But by the end of this video, you will realize something uncomfortable. You were never simply choosing between two women. You were choosing between invisible forces inside your own mind. And the worst part, there was never a correct answer to begin with. But before we talk about choice, we need to talk about the illusion of choice. We human beings love believing we are rational. We like to think our decisions comes from logic, from individuality, from freedom. But the moment I gave you these two women, your mind instantly started constructing meaning around them. Even though I barely told you anything, you projected personality onto them, histories, future possibilities. You started imagining which one would understand you more, which one deserved more love, which one would suffer more. And some of you might try to outsmart this experiment itself because we humans hate carrying responsibility for painful choices. But this experiment was never really about marriage. Marriage is really just a disguise. The real experiment is about you, about how human beings make decisions, or more accurately, how human beings believe they make decisions. And later in this video, I'm going to show you why even refusing to choose still traps you inside the experiment. The most disturbing thing about human choice is that your decisions often begin before even you consciously make it. Think about it. What influences your choices? Your childhood, your culture, your religion, your trauma, your fears, your experiences, your idea of mortality, your ego, your desire to be a good person, even your past breakups. All of these things silently shape what feels right to you, which means the moment you looked at these two women, you weren't choosing as a completely free human being. Instead, you were choosing as your memories, your conditioning, your beliefs, your fears, your identity. And identity is powerful because once we human believe we are a certain kind of person, we began making decisions that protect that identity. A man who believes he is moral will choose differently from a man who values logic. A religious person may choose differently from someone driven by emotions. Someone abandoned in childhood may choose differently from someone raised with love. And the terrifying part is, most people never notice these invisible forces influencing them. They simply call it my decision. But the experiment becomes darker when guilt enters the picture. Because now you are no longer choosing what you want, you are choosing what you can live with. The moment I told you the rejected woman would suffer, the experiment changed completely. Now there's pressure. Now there's moral responsibility. Now your mind desperately researches for the correct answer. But what if there isn't one? Think carefully. If you choose one woman, you indirectly abandoned the other. But even if you refuse to choose, you still allowed suffering to happen. Even inaction becomes the action. And this is where human beings begin suffering psychologically. Because we don't just experience reality, we experience imagined realities. The human mind immediately create alternate timelines. What if I choose the other one? What if I made the wrong decision? What if my choice says something terrible about me? We humans don't suffer only from consequences, we suffer from possibilities. And this is why the choice itself becomes painful. Because every choice destroys another possible future forever. And in a few minutes, you will understand why the human brain can never fully escape this suffering, even after the choice is already made. Imagine you finally chose one woman. The experiment should be over, right? But it isn't, because now the mind starts replaying the decision again and again and again. You begin questioning yourself. Did I choose because of empathy, fear, attraction, guilt? Did society influence me? Did my past influence me? Was I manipulated by emotion? Was I trying to protect my image of myself? And suddenly, the choice no longer feels clean. This is what we humans do constantly in life: relationships, careers, friendships, dreams. Every decision creates ghosts of alternate life we never lived. And sometimes the suffering does not come from making the wrong choice. It comes from believing there was a perfect choice hidden somewhere. But here's the final trap hidden inside this entire experiment. The thing most people never even notice. From the moment this video started, your mind has been trapped. Even now, some of you are still trying to solve the experiment, trying to justify your choice, trying to find morally correct answer. But the experiment was designed so no answer feels clean, because the real goal was never to discover which woman would you choose. The real goal was to expose the invisible machinery behind your choices, to show you how many silent forces influences what feels right to you. And maybe the strangest part of being a human being is we experience our decisions as freedom while being shaped by countless things we barely notice: our identity, our fears, our memories, society, regret, morality, the need to see ourselves as good people. And maybe that's why humans suffer so deeply from choice. Because unlike animals, we don't simply choose, we imagine, we question, we regret, we create meaning. And once meaning enters a decision, there is no longer a completely peaceful answer. So now I want you to think back to the beginning, the two women standing in front of you. One choice, one consequences. And after everything we discussed, ask yourself honestly, did you make that decision, or were invisible parts of your identity choosing long before you even realized it? Look, I really love discussing these kinds of topic about humans. If you find this video meaningful in any way, please tell me so I can make more of these videos, thinking that there is some people out there who want to watch these kinds of videos. Thank you.